as you can. That's it. That's it. You got it. Go!
Back with Tony Robbins. That was Oprah demonstrating the famous fire walk during the multi-day seminar, Unleash Your Power Within. I mean, you could have nearly killed Oprah Winfrey. If she'd fallen into your fire, what would you have done?
Skydiving, that's what I used to do.
Lying there in flames and you're watching $3 billion worth of talent going up, all down to you. Well, that takes confidence, shoving Oprah Winfrey onto your firewall.
No, what takes confidence, we did our breakthrough show, and I took a man. I want to do this show where we'd have the opportunity to get people who are facing the worst environments. You know, today you look around, Piers, and you see people, 63% of the country now says their best days are behind us, that the future for their kids and themselves will be far less than what they've experienced. So I thought, what's the best way to do it? You can tell people all day long it's going to be better, and that's not going to do anything. We have to make it better. So I thought if I did a show where I could take people who had extreme problems, extreme stress, and show them turn around in 30 days. So I'll tell you what took a little more courage was, I said, give me some examples. And we found a man and his wife who were literally getting married down in Mexico. They jump into a swimming pool, and he becomes a quadriplegic instantly. Literally blood in the water. He's now here in LA in a little room. He can't move. His wife is never going to be able to have a child with him. She's his caretaker. And what do you do to turn this guy around in 30 days when he says his life is over? And I thought, I can do this. I can figure a strategy to do this and not just be uplifting, but real and have it last. And really, in essence, what I had to be able to do was figure out how to shift his story about what's possible in his life. Because you and I both know people have a great life and they're miserable.
Let's take a clip from that very moment. Watch this.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm great. This is amazing. Amazing.
A man is a quadriplegic physically. Jumping out of an airplane seems a little insane to most people, but so much of our life is on automatic pilot that we don't even see it anymore. He was able to not only do this, but really, really enjoy it.
You see, that is, obviously it's great television, but it's also a profoundly moving thing to watch.
It was unbelievable
to see that man's face feeling like he was alive again.
He said he couldn't leave the house, and I took him to Fiji, which was a trip by itself. I won't waste your time, but they dropped him, if you can imagine, his beeposphere. I got him skydiving in a few days. I separated him from his wife, who said that couldn't happen, and for 10 days, we taught him murder ball, which if you've ever seen it, looks like Mad Max.
Yeah.
It's rugby for quadriplegics. Transformed his identity, and then had him build a truck that he couldn't build when he was able-bodied, and went with him 100 miles an hour where he drove it with his elbows. All this and then rewiring his life. Today, and he calls me, he's out camping. His wife got cancer after all this show, and brain cancer, and everybody said it couldn't be done. He took charge and made it happen. The man changed his life because I always say that talking is wonderful, but an experience is much more powerful than a belief. And so I give people experiences that help them to change.
Well, you do. You also give people advice. And there are businessmen in this country who are rumored to pay you $1 million a year.
Yes.
To give them advice.
I have one client who's one of the top 10 financial traders in the world. He's been my client for 20 years that way. And,
why are you worth that kind of money to somebody like that?
I'm not coming to inspire him. He doesn't need any inspiration.
What does he need?
I'm a strategist. What I'm best at is modeling. I came in when he made a lot of money and then lost money. He hasn't lost money any year for the 20 years I've worked with him. So he gives me that 7 figures plus kind of a piece of the upside, if you will. And when I come in every single time, over the course of 3 or 4 times a year, I will come in and figure out how to improve his strategy. Figure out, because the markets are always changing, what do we need to do in him? What do we need to do in his system to get the result? So most people think of me as the positive thinking guy because I do believe in passion and energy. And I believe, an inspired life, the other choice is the dead life. So
Right.
I bring energy, but the strategy is what makes it work.
Let me give you a scenario. I am the patient, and I am America Incorporated.
Yes.
Now, there are clearly fundamental problems with America right now, and yet I like to call this segment Keeping America Great because it remains a great country.
I agree.
And I would imagine plays perfectly to your constant air of positivity. But what is the solution to the American current malaise, do you think?
In 1 minute or two?
Yes.
I think there's 5 areas I look at personally, and I look at how I can make a difference in my time and my money and my investments there. I look at energy, because right now we continue to pollute the environment, and we're sending our money overseas, and we've got wars that are basically funded to a great extent to try to protect our oil. And it's an old technology, and it's out, and we know that there's other technology available. And so when there's guys like, Elon Musk that build Tesla, and they build a car that can go 0 to 60 in 3.9 seconds and 250-mile range on the thing, you know something can be done. T-Boone Pickens is a friend of mine. He's got a plan that can take 8 million trucks and wipe out about 60% of our use of foreign oil just by getting us to convert like we did from gasoline to diesel, making that conversion now to natural gas, which we have plenty of. And he lost by 6 votes in the Senate. He's going to get it done. I'm helping him. So energy is one place, cheap natural energy, and energy that hopefully gets us away from polluting. Second piece for me really is education. We all know it's antiquated. It's insane. And there are lots of great people that are creating breakthroughs, but the institution keeps stopping it. There are a few people that are doing breakthroughs like the Khan Institute, but where now teachers are starting to actually do the homework with kids in class, having them watch the class at home, be in class where I can interact with you and actually teach you and see dramatic changes in that area so that things can be done. And I work in that area, obviously. Third, to me, I look at employment. We have to retool. If you look at since 1960, there have been 8 recessions. Every time we expand unemployment. And the most we've ever done on average in the past is 52 weeks. And I totally believe in supporting. I personally, my foundation, we feed 2 million people. I was fed when I was a kid. I fed 250,000 people last week in New York as a gift that I did out of one of my events. So I believe in that. I'm not pumping my horn. I just want you to know I believe in that. But when you give people 99 weeks and you don't retool them, where they're literally for 2 years not working, and we operate from a belief that these low-skill, low-knowledge jobs are ever going to come back. Even if Apple, like you talk about, brought it back, it's not going to back. It's like saying bring farming back from a century ago. We were 80% farmers, now we're 2%. We have to retool. And if we're going to take people and do that, I say give them the money they need, but they've got to do something for it, and they've got to be retooled for it to match where the economy is going in reality.
What's the last one of your 5 points?
It's the health side. It's the human energy. We'll look at 5 E's. It's that human energy side, because if you look at the diseases that eat up all our time, energy, money, and our health bills that we're looking at, the trillions of dollars we're looking at, they're really mostly lifestyle diseases. And there's a man named David Feinberg who runs UCLA here. He's had the hospitals there, and he turned the hospitals around from a place that 33% of the people said it was a good place to go, and now it's 99%. It's better than the Four Seasons. And what he did was change the culture there, but he saves lives. He's taught people, for example, 4 people out of 1,000 people that got an intravenous form of transfusion would get ill, and 1 of the 4 would die. Now none do. Sounds impossible. He just changed the system. So we can make behavioral changes culturally that would allow us to reduce those bills, provide more energy that can be implemented in your family and your life.
Tony, it's been a real pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming in. Tony Robbins, and Breakthrough with Tony Robbins airs on Mondays and does live class, both on the OWN network. Monday night is Tony Robbins night on the OWN network with Oprah. Thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.